Have you ever been so stressed that it felt normal? Not just stressed before an exam, not just stressed because of a deadline. I mean, stressed almost every day for years. For a long time, that was me. Ever since I was young, I always wanted to be the good kid. The smart kid, the kid who got good grades and make everyone proud. I thought that if I worked hard enough and achieved enough, everything would be okay. So I chased academic success constantly. Every test felt important, every grade felt important, every mistake felt like a disaster. And because of that, I spent years putting pressure on myself. What I didn't realize was that stress doesn't disappear just because you're young. It doesn't magically go away because you're ambitious. In fact, when stress becomes part of your lifestyle, it slowly starts affecting your body, your mind, and your health.
Believe it or not, taking everything seriously is actually making you dumber because your brain isn't built to treat every situation like a crisis. When you overreact to everything, you burn the mental energy you actually need to think clearly.
Today, I want to talk about the hidden cost of stress, what chronic stress can do to your body in the long term, and why I'm finally trying to change my relationship with it. Because if you're constantly stressed, this video might be the wake-up call you need. Looking back, I don't think I ever learned how to relax. I learned how to study, I learned how to work harder, I learned how to worry, but I never learned how to switch off. As I got older, the pressure didn't disappear. Now I'm studying engineering, and anyone who studies a demanding subject knows how intense it can be. There are assignments, projects, deadlines, exams, future career worries, and sometimes it feels like there's always something you should be doing. For years, stress followed me everywhere. One of the biggest signs was my sleep. I would wake up in the middle of the night. Sometimes my mind would immediately start thinking about responsibilities. Things I hadn't finished, things I need to do tomorrow, things I was worried about. And even when I slept for enough hours, I often didn't feel fully rested. At that time, I thought this was normal, but poor sleep is often one of the first signs that stress is affecting your health. The scary part is that chronic stress doesn't just affect your sleep. It affects almost everything. Stress itself isn't always bad. In fact, stress is a survival mechanism. When your brain senses a threat, it releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Your heart beats faster, your breathing changes, your body becomes more alert. The problem is that modern stress doesn't usually come from running away from a tiger. It comes from deadlines, financial worries, relationship problems, academic pressures, social media comparison, career uncertainty. And unlike a tiger, these problems don't disappear after 5 minutes. So your body stays in stress mode, day after day, month after month, year after year. That's what we call chronic stress. And that's where problem begins.
Most people develop an autoimmune disease after being stressed out for a long period of time. If you've been diagnosed with a chronic illness or an autoimmune disease, you may have experienced a lot of trauma.
Number one, poor sleep quality. Let's start with the one I know personally. Stress can make it harder to fall asleep, harder to stay asleep, and harder to get deep restorative sleep. Your brain remains alert even when you're supposed to be resting. You wake up tired, you rely on caffeine, you struggle to focus, and the cycle continues. The frustrating thing is that poor sleep can also increase stress. So stress causes poor sleep, and poor sleep creates even more stress. It's a vicious cycle. Number two, anxiety and mental exhaustion. When you're stressed for a long time, your brain never truly gets a break. You may start overthinking everything. You constantly imagine worst-case scenarios. You become mentally exhausted. Small problems begin to feel much bigger than they actually are. And eventually, your brain starts treating normal situations as threats. Number three, difficulty concentrating. Many people think stress makes them more productive. Sometimes it does for short periods. But chronic stress often does the opposite. It becomes harder to focus, harder to remember information. You struggle to make decisions. Number four, digestive problems. Your gut and your brain are closely connected. When stress levels rise, digestive issues often appear. Some people experience stomach pain, others experience bloating, others lose their appetite completely. And some people stress is as a coping mechanism. Over time, chronic stress can significantly affect digestive health and overall well-being. Number 5, increased risk of chronic diseases. Many researchers now believe stress plays a role in various long-term health conditions. While stress alone doesn't directly cause every disease, it can contribute to inflammation and unhealthy habits that increase health risks.
One of the main things that stuck with me in A-level psychology was learning that stress is a silent killer. The way it will cause inflammation, raise your cortisol, ruin your gut health, ruin your heart health, ruin everything, it will make you sick. Please take it seriously. Do not stress yourself. Please rest. Please try not to be on the verge of burnout. I know that's hard these days, but please try your best, because that thing is not a joke.
When people are stressed, they often sleep less, exercise less, eat poorly, recover poorly, and over time, these habits can affect overall health. This is why stress should never be viewed as something harmless. If you're watching this and you're constantly stressed, I want you to know something. Your body keeps score. The stress you ignore today can become the health problem you deal with tomorrow. Success is important, working hard is important, education is important, but your health matters too. Because what's the point of achieving your goals if you sacrifice your well-being along the way?
So neuroscience tells us that too much stress can shrink different parts of the brain and can rewire the way that your brain processes information. When you're stressed out, cortisol is released into the blood and it will cross the blood-brain barrier and act on the hippocampus and the amygdala. These are the two parts of the brain that have an increased amount of glucocorticoid receptors, the receptors that are responsible for reacting with the cortisol hormone. When it acts on the hippocampus, that part of the brain will start to shrink or undergo atrophy, and that's the area that's responsible for forming new memories, so it will inhibit your ability to retain information.
I'm still learning this myself. I'm still learning how to manage pressure, trying to build a healthier relationship with stress, but I've already learned one important lesson. Being stressed all the time isn't a sign that you're doing your life correctly. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is slow down, take care of yourself, and give your mind the recovery it deserves. Because a healthier mind creates a healthier future, and that's a goal worth chasing. If this video made you see things differently, hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.